All right, this is a comparison of three RGB LED fill lights, kind of the same general product category, size, shape. So over here is one from a brand called Pretty that's not currently available on Amazon anymore. It's a pretty generic one. It says LED fill light model D02. And the interesting thing about this is they have the white on one side and then the colored LEDs on the other side. So that was about $26. So these two are more name brand. Ulanzi, this is the U60 RGB light, costs about $30. And then this over here is the Neewer RGB62. And I have two of them because they came in a 2-pack for $53, so they're about $27 each if you can buy them individually. So the user interface on the top Pretty one, this is the generic one that says LED fill light model D02. It has a power on button here. You press and hold and you get a power on, and then you can change the modes here. And so these guys, the M button will go between the intensity and then the hue, and this guy here is, there's your hue for your color changing. And then the value is how saturated that hue is. So it goes down to white if you turn that to a low number. And then if you push and hold the power button again, it changes to the white light mode. The controls kind of flip around to the other side. The M button moves between the color temperature, which can go as high as 9,000 and as low as 25K. Or 2500K, and then you can change it to the intensity, and that intensity can change as well. So the kind of tricky thing about this is the minus button is on the top and the plus button is on the bottom when you're in kind of the white light mode, and then it reverses to the other side when you're in the hue mode. And so the other option is kind of this special effects, and so they have flashing or pattern 3, pattern 2, pattern 1. There's various things where it will do just different effects, flashing and SOS, turning all the lights on both sides. There's just different effects you can do. All right, so the Ulanzi user interface, it has a physical switch, which I kind of like for turning it on. You pop up into here. And right now it is in the kind of flashy mode. If you push and hold, it'll jump. Now we're in the white light mode. And with that, you can adjust the color temperature all the way down to 25K, all the way up to 9,000K. And then if you tap, you can move the intensity and change the intensity, so you can lower or raise the intensity. The only thing I don't like about this user interface is some of the time when I'm rotating around here, I accidentally hit the button and then I start moving the other thing. It's not hard to recover from. You just hit the button again and you go back. But that's the only thing that I don't really like about it, because every so often, when I'm spinning quickly trying to get it to go all the way to one end to the other end, I accidentally tap it sometimes. Now you push and hold again, you're in hue mode, and you can adjust the intensity of the hue or the color of the hue. Now they don't have a saturation, so you can't change it from a bright pink to a lightish pink. It's just value mode and intensity. And then you press and hold again, and you get back into the flashy modes where they can have some, it looks like a television or firework or fire engine, a cop car, strobe lights. There's various different things that, make it look like special effects. And I never use a special effects mode. One thing about this that's kind of interesting is this guy, the battery I find runs down over a couple of months in storage. So I would think with the physical switch it'd just be completely shut off, but apparently not. Apparently it does have something that draws down the battery very slowly over time. So, all you have to do is make sure that you charge it up if it's been in storage for a couple of months, and it's fine. All right, so the Neewer RGB62 has 4 buttons for the user interface. You push and hold the power button. It turns on, and then you can hit the M button to change between the different modes. So they have basically your white light mode, and in white light mode you can adjust the color temperature by going left and right. So it goes down to 25K. Then all the way up to 8500. You can tap the power button, it'll move the caret, and you can basically say, okay, I'm going to change the intensity. Now, with the Neewer, you might notice there's a Bluetooth icon flashing. So of the three, this is the only one that has a Bluetooth app control. And basically everything you can do with the buttons on the back, you can do with the Bluetooth app. Now, if you hit mode again, now we have HSI, and so right now it's on H, and so I can change the color hue by just pushing that button. It just wraps around. When it hits 0, it'll go back down to 360. If I tap the power button, I can change the saturation. So this guy here, you can say, okay, I want this pink to be 100% saturated, or you can say, well, change the saturation down so it gets less pink and kind of more whitish. So you can get kind of a very white, light pink. So that one does allow you to change the saturation. Most of the time I do leave the saturation up at 100%. And most of these lights I leave the brightness at 100% as well. And then they have the FX or special effects mode. And it's basically each of these have different names for the different modes, but most of them have something that looks like a TV and people taking pictures and lightning and maybe a cop car or an ambulance siren or some type of thing that loops through hues and just changes colors. And then you push and hold to turn it off again. So all of these have kind of a white diffuser cover. The Neewer, however, has an additional diffuser on top of it. And so this guy pops off, and so you can use it just kind of as it is, or if you want it to be extra diffuse, you put this color cover on top and it snaps on and just holds on. Alright, so everybody wants to know which one's the brightest. And that's a hard question to actually answer. So we're just going to give you a relative metric here. So right here, this guy, the top hitty, is giving me a 13.9. The Ulanzi is giving me a 34.8. And the Neewer with the diffuser hood is giving me a 22.3. If I take the diffuser hood off, it goes to a 31. So at 34.5, the Ulanzi is the brightest, but the Neewer is pretty close. It's there at 31.5, 32, depending on angle. So all of these were set to 100% intensity with a color temperature of 5900 Kelvin. Now, runtime at full power, the Ulanzi only goes an hour and 38 minutes, whereas these two guys both go for about 2.5 hours, about 2 hours 25, 2 hours 26 minutes for these two guys. Both of these guys will charge with USB-C power delivery, so a phone charger will charge them. This guy over here does not negotiate USB-C power delivery, so you need a USB-A to C cable to charge it up. And it's an older model, it's not sold anymore, so most likely, unless you're buying a generic, you probably won't be getting that one. Physical differences, they're all about the same size. They all have a cold shoe mount with a 1/4x20 socket on the bottom. Some of them, like this guy, has 3 other cold shoe mounts you can attach to. This guy has another cold shoe mount. You can put like a microphone or something on the top. This guy over here has 2 of them, but you have to take these magnets out. And so you take the side magnets out, and then you could attach things to either side. And these are magnets, and so this guy you can attach to something metal, up against it. They all have magnets in them somewhere, and so these guys have them on the back, so you can put it up against something metal, and this guy also has it on the back, so it'll attach to something metal and just stay up against it. So they all have a magnetic mounting system. This guy here has the magnets on the side, which is the only one that's a little bit different. So which one to buy? Well, the kind of generic one here, the only real advantage is that it has magnets on the side, so you can stick it to something and throw light perpendicular. Otherwise, it's not as bright. The user interface is just okay. So between the Ulanzi and the Neewer, cost on a per unit basis is about the same if you can buy single units of these. I only found it in a 2-pack. Pure brightness, this guy is just slightly brighter. So if you're just looking for the brightest fill light you can get, this guy is it. But the runtime there is like 1 hour and 30 minutes, whereas this guy is almost as bright if you take the diffuser off, and its runtime was almost 2.5 hours, like 2 hours 25 minutes. So longer overall runtime, almost as bright with the Neewer. User interface, this guy has Bluetooth app control, and if you're getting a 2-pack of them, I could see maybe that being useful if you're using them somewhere as accent lights and you want to change what color or hue they're throwing remotely. Otherwise, I really don't use the Bluetooth control. From a user interface standpoint, I don't know, I'm split here. I really like the simple, you just flip it on and off, and then you have this jog dial, and it just has a button flip to go between color temperature and intensity, and you jog the dial to change those things. There is the, you know, kind of hidden mode of extra long hold, and it goes to, you know, the hue mode, extra long hold to get to the special effects mode. But it's a pretty easy to use and understand user interface. Now this guy has the advantage of multiple buttons, and so you have, you know, the mode button that switches between the modes. You have up and down or left right that increases or decreases values, and the only overloaded thing is the power button. A short press flips your caret between the 3 different values you can move through. From a easier to understand and use and look at interface, I like this interface better. The kind of all text here is, yeah, it gets the job done, but I'm not really a fan of it. This guy does have the diffuser that comes off, so you can get, you know, it's still diffuse, it's still a white piece of plastic, but you can get it more diffuse. It does come with 3 attachment points on the sides and the top, whereas this guy only has 1 on the top. So I think either one of these are pretty good choices, and it really kind of depends on what you're looking for. I would probably lean towards the Neewer myself, just because of the extra longer runtime, but you might need to get 2 of them, because I'm not sure if they sell those in single packs.